With It Chapter 2 bringing the Losers Club saga to a close, let's take a look at the film's ending and how different it is from Stephen King's sprawling 1,100-plus page novel.
Hello.
The main difference between the book and the movie is a structural one. In the novel, the action cuts back and forth between the young and old Losers Club as they battle Pennywise. Since we already saw the young Losers Club battle the titular dancing clown in 2017's It, we obviously don't get any of that cross-cutting in Chapter 2, save for a quick image of young Bev in deadlights. But that's a difference in itself. In the book, Beverly doesn't enter the deadlights at all, young or old. The characters that make it down to the sewer are very different as well. The movie finds Bill, Beverly, Ben, Richie, Mike, and a facially wounded Eddie making the trip through the house on Neibolt Street into the sewers. In the book, though, Mike is laid up in the hospital for the final battle, having been seriously wounded at the hands of possessed bully Henry Bowers. However, both Beverly's husband Tom and Bill's wife Audra were also lured into the sewers by Pennywise. Tom is dead when they find him, apparently keeled over after merely laying eyes on the demonic clown, and Audra is catatonic but alive. The confrontation with Pennywise in both Stephen King's book and It Chapter 2 hinges on the ritual of Chewed. The movie version of the ritual was discovered by Mike Hanlon, who, in a hallucinatory sequence, describes the mechanics of the ritual to Bill as an ancient ceremony used by Native Americans to capture it in a bucket. It at least seems like an old sacred bucket, but still, it's a bucket. The book version of the ritual is discovered by Bill. Trying to figure out just what sort of demon Pennywise is, he stumbles onto a method from the Himalayas to banish him. It involves overlapping tongues with the beast, biting into them so you're eye to eye, and then telling each other jokes. And whoever laughs first loses. The movie's version of the ritual, though, fails almost immediately. It's revealed that Mike knew it hadn't worked for the Native Americans from whom he learned about it, and he'd even scratched out the part of the bucket's engraving that chronicled the ritual's failure in the past. The tokens the adult Losers Club spent most of the movie collecting proved to be inconsequential. Ultimately, the losers have to out-bully Pennywise, shrinking the self-proclaimed eater of worlds down to a manageable size so they can remove the demon's heart and crush it with the combined force of all their hands. The book ritual proceeds as planned. There's plenty of tongue-biting, very descriptively written by Stephen King, but in their first encounter with Pennywise, young Bill is also hurled through space and time, where he famously encounters the cosmic turtle that created the universe. For the second round against the demon, grown-up Bill is joined in the deadlights-induced trance by Richie, and the pair of them wrangle its tongue and sink their teeth in, with Richie using his patented, supposedly comedic for the time but certainly haven't aged well voices to weaken Pennywise. Another aspect completely left out of the book is the discovery that Pennywise is actually a female entity, or at least what the Losers Club perceives as female with their fragile human minds. Either way, the ancient demon is laying eggs all over the cave and crying in anguish as the losers destroy them as well. But the part of the encounter that's actually similar is, ultimately, the losers have to prove they can master their fear of the demon. For Eddie Kaspbrak in the book, that means mustering the courage to spray his inhaler down its throat. Book Eddie gets his arm bitten clean off by the spider version of It while coming to Bill and Richie's rescue. In the movie, Eddie is impaled by one of Pennywise's legs, which is more crab-like than spider. The demon also keeps his big scary clown face in the movie instead of turning full arachnid like he does in the novel. Either way, in both the book and the movie, Eddie bleeds out in Richie's arms. They also leave Eddie's body underground after Richie shares a tender moment with him, leading to decades of Eddie-Richie shipping among fans. Pennywise finally meets her match in the book as Bill and Richie catch up to her in the bowels of the cave, and Bill literally punches her to death, thrusting his fists into the spider until its heart blows up. The epilogue of the film differs from the book wildly as well. The movie finds Bill finishing a new book, Mike deciding to finally leave Derry, Ben and Bev becoming a couple, and Richie recarving he and Eddie's initials into a fence outside of town. Narration for the epilogue is provided by a letter, which does not appear in the book, written by Stan Uris to all of his friends before he killed himself, wrapping up the themes of the movie. While the Losers Club in the film had forgotten about Pennywise in the intervening years, they don't seem to be forgetting what happened this time. The epilogue from the book takes the form of Mike's diary as he finishes writing it while waiting to be discharged from the hospital. He writes about Ben and Bev heading off to Nebraska together and talking to Richie in California, but mostly Mike is hurrying to finish his diary because they're all forgetting everything again. In the same way the losers that left Derry years ago forgot the details of their battle with Pennywise, everybody, Mike included, is forgetting it all again, including details like Eddie's last name. Bill is taking care of his still catatonic wife Audra, but ultimately snaps her out of it by going for a ride on his trusty bike Silver. The childlike thrill of careening through town, barely in control, wakes Audra up, and even though Bill only has half-remembered dreams of his childhood or the Losers Club, he's able to live his life again. If you read the book, let us know in the comments what you thought about the changes made from the movie, and for more on Pennywise, check out our review of It Chapter 2 and Cinefix's What's the Difference Between the Book and the Original miniseries. And as always, subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.